Next on Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly, National Collegiate Rugby CEO Jeremy Treece, head coach of the National Sevens champs Old Blue, Stephen Lewis, W.E.R. champion Denver's star, Aly Cunningham, and CanAm Rugby Director, Cam Moody. Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle.
There is a massive responsibility on the 23 that are privileged enough to step out on that field today.
You're expecting to see Rugby Morning's coffee break, but no, we have too much to talk about. So John Fitzpatrick is cut this week. Actually, he's on vacation. And we have championships to talk about, including in the National Club Sevens and in the WER. And first up, we have the championship coach of the winners in the men's division of the National Club Champions, Mr. Stephen Lewis. Stephen, welcome back to MLR Weekly.
Hi, Matthew. It's been too long.
It has, Steve, because, we only bring you on when you win championships, but it seems it's more frequent than not. All right. So again, Steve, here you find yourself in sevens, proving to people that elevate-rugby.com is the place to go, because you just don't practice, you preach, but you also execute. And you won. Tell me about the championship at the Club Sevens in Wisconsin.
Yeah, terrific weekend. Old Blue winning it. We've won it before, but on a personal level, it's the first time I've won it with Old Blue. I've won it with the Bulldogs previously. So Very happy at a personal level and very happy for our guys. They've been great all summer. We had a really tight final against Nova, but we were happy.
Tell us about the opposing coach.
Yeah, but that was a bit of a surprise. A man you and I both know well and love, Paul Sheehy. He was there. His son Owen was playing and major part of Nova's armory, as it were. But Paul was there coaching on the sideline. As we both know, he's an owner for Old Glory DC. He's an illustrious former player, Eagles, etc., Washington, Breckenridge, what have you. But it was his first experience coaching, so I think I hope he enjoyed it. I think he realizes now sevens coaching can be a little more intense just because of the time constrictions. But it was great to see him. It was great to end up in the final against him. Our tents were actually next to each other all weekend. Women's side, Sion, who they bested Chicago Lions, last year's winner in the final. But congrats to Sion. They do a great job giving young female players opportunity. And Chicago Lions are, in my opinion, like Old Blue and Belmont Shore and Austin Blacks, they're one of the few true clubs left. So Chicago Lions under David Fee, they finished second, but credit to them.
All right, fair enough. And Stephen, we have to leave now, but I'm gonna segue from one champion to another champion. We have Aly Cunningham of the Denver Onyx coming in. As we say goodbye to Stephen, we're welcoming in Aly of the Denver Onyx. Aly, welcome to MLR Weekly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you, Aly, for coming on. I mean, it's not often we get to talk to champions of a league, and your team happens to be the two-time champion, or I should say the only two-time champion in the WER, Women's Elite Rugby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you had a big hand in this, scoring 2 tries, including the opening try with a breakaway, and then you put it to bed pretty much, or it seemed, for your team by scoring the last try. Yeah. So
sure.
Walk me through it. How are you dealing with it? Are you one of these people? Are you quiet, or are you barking at the team? Or what's your style?
I mean, I'm play 10, so naturally have to talk, but I try to keep my words limited and keep them concise and say what we need to hear, not just anything that comes to my mind. So trying to keep it concise, trying to bring up the girls, keeping the momentum going when we have the momentum. And then if the other team has a momentum, trying to stop that momentum and switch it back to us. So those are like my key things that I look for and try to help with throughout the game.
All right. So let's talk briefly about your history, because you're in a good place in rugby here. And I wanted to look at your pathway. You played in high school, but when did you first become informed about rugby?
When I was 5, well, I've been around it my whole life. So my dad played in college. He fell in love with the sport. And so we actually started a tag program when I was young. So I started playing tag when I was 5 years old. And then I have an older brother. He's 2 years older than me. And my dad started a tackle program. So I was a tackle dummy for him and my brother and his buddies. So that was lovely. And then when I got to high school, my high school team, Catholic Memorial High School in Waukesha, Wisconsin, has a really good high school program.
Where you were student council president as a senior.
That is very true. Yes. Yeah. So started playing tackle in high school and then played in college at Sacred Heart University. And now that brings up 9 years playing tackle rugby.
Wow. So you are the poster person for the pathway of American rugby and especially women's rugby.
I guess so.
You're also an American sounding fly half, which is as rare as a unicorn.
Yes, that's very true.
What was your biggest / favorite moment in rugby so far?
Before I was even in high school, I was brought to touch practice for the high schoolers at the Catholic Memorial, and we would play touch. And that was like the first time I was playing with seniors of high school, that people that I looked up to and people that I like saw go off and play in college. And that was probably like just a really, really cool moment to play with girls that have been playing rugby, found rugby in high school and fell in love with it and like wanted to play after high school. And that kind of inspired me to keep like wanting to play tackle, figuring out what that all was about and playing at the next level, really.
So, I was going to me, that's great because that's really grassroots. But I thought maybe, hoisting the trophy or being player of the match for the Denver Onyx in a WER championship match on the biggest
that's
stage.
great. I guess the recent. Yes, the recent one would be definitely the Legacy Cup this past couple 2 days.
It's just too fresh that you don't really consider it in the history yet. Sheila Decker, your teammate, right?
Yes.
I came and watched you guys beat the New York Exiles, and I talked to Sheila on camera after that. So you check out that episode of that week, you'll see Sheila. Yeah. But I also saw you guys. You guys were impressive. What struck me was the amount of fans sounded like 5 times the amount of fans. They were into it. They were great for both teams. And it was nice to see at the end of the game, both teams kind of getting honored by the fans. And that's New York. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's something to pull off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of fans for everyone there, which was amazing. A lot of crossover. All
right. We're running out of time, but I just want to go over your realities of playing rugby. Right now, you're in grad school, right? You're getting a master's in business, or what is it?
Business management. Yep.
Okay. Business management. But you don't get salaries in the WER.
No.
You're a student and you're paying rent and you're living life and the season's over. So at least you had your expenses paid for when you were traveling around and playing with the team, and you got some meals when you're with the team. But other than that, you're on your own. So you also are in the Eagles pool. And I would imagine that you want to play for the Eagles, get that cap and get that. So you're going to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
What has to happen for you to keep pursuing the whole rugby thing?
Yeah, well, I play rugby because I love it. So the goal is to continue to play rugby and, find out from there, get a job, figure out if I'm going to go maybe overseas to play, and what that looks like. If I can get housing, a contract, if not, staying here in the States. But either way, even if I go overseas or stay domestic, I have to get a job, figure it all that out. But I do graduate soon, so time is ticking.
All right. Well, if you need somebody to sell you, I'm all on board because you're an American-sounding fly half. You can kick the crap out of the ball, and you can score. Hey, Eagles, could you use 2 tries and 3 conversions against South Africa? I think you could. Anyway, that's just me. Aly, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mercy me, that could have put him in Ward 4.
I hope not, Bill. That's a maternity ward.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we're back with the CEO of National Collegiate Rugby, NCR, Mr. Jeremy Treece. Jeremy, welcome back to MLR Weekly.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back in the studio here with you. I'm live from Orlando.
Live from Orlando. Beautiful. Although this is a taped show, so we'll figure that out in the post-production. But Jeremy, people say, why do you have a guy that's with college on the MLR Weekly show? And I'm like, because it's chock full of future potential MLR stars. Hello. So it's the farm system, basically, college rugby is, right?
Exactly. It should work just like every other sport. College football and the NFL have a collaborative thing. That's where they get their players from. NBA gets its players from college basketball. And hopefully the MLR is getting their players from, National Collegiate Rugby and collegiate rugby in general.
All right, so here's the problem. You mentioned the NCAA, college football, and college basketball.
Yeah.
The difference here is that we have entities that each think that they're the entity of choice for college rugby, and I'm talking about CRAA, Collegiate Rugby Association of America, and the NCR. It used to be about 17 acronyms. Now it's basically down to the two, and the NCR, which you're part of, has some like 80% of the schools, and some would argue that the CRAA has the top or better schools in terms of rugby on the field. But all of that we'll get to. But let me just read a quote from your letter to the membership. And that letter went out like July 28th. And it was interesting. And I just want to quote from it, and then we'll talk about it. In response to the United States Olympic Committee's guidance and in true good faith, NCR submitted a formal partnership proposal to USA Rugby on July 9th, 2026. This proposal, which we believe would drive over $300K in value, outlined a comprehensive collaborative model spanning cross-marketing, talent identification, coaching and referee development, senior club transition, and streamlined membership that respected the distinct legal and operational roles of both organizations. Our goal was to work in partnership with USA Rugby in a way that would support mutual growth and strengthen collegiate rugby as a whole. As of today, if I'm not mistaken, USA Rugby has not replied to this proposal. But, to be fair, that was July 9th. So it's just over a month. And your quote continues, "We are disappointed that we have yet to engage on the proposal. However, our commitment to transparently serve our members remains unchanged. We are sharing this proposal publicly so that our coaches, student athletes, and university leaders can see the collaborative offer that we have extended." So that went out. And was the intention to stir the pot or something else?
No, absolutely not. The intention was transparency for our membership. We made a formal good faith proposal to USA Rugby on July 9th. We shared it publicly to our coaches, our players, student administrators, so they could see exactly what we offered. This is a long line of proposals. We've sent about 4 proposals over the last 5 or 6 years to USA Rugby. And when you're asking, the people that invest their time, money, and trust into our organization, they deserve to know the full picture. So the conversation, that followed simply reflects on how much the people care about the future of college rugby. And we just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we were trying to resolve this ongoing dispute with the national governing body.
What are the biggest points of dispute for you?
Well, the biggest points of dispute, I guess, is just the I don't want to get into the legal weeds of the Ted Stevens Act, but the Ted Stevens Act gives exclusive jurisdiction to colleges, high schools, and military to operate their respective pillars or communities, if you will. Well, just like the NCAA, the NIA, they're completely separate. College sports, NGBs don't run college sports. I think I've only found 2 NGBs out of 51 that even work in the collegiate space. USA Gymnastics holds a national championship for schools that have less than 2 scholarships, and USA Lacrosse runs a club, women's club championship. for smaller schools. That's it. That's all. So it's very uncommon for an NGB to get into the collegiate space and want to operate there. NCR has the scale and the people and the infrastructure to operate college rugby, and we thought it would be a good partnership for us to work with them, and they can help amplify what we're doing, and that's what the proposal was basically for. And then we were going to invest some substantial amount of money into coaching and referee development. We were going to have them be at our matches. They can sell their merchandise. We wanted to get in some partnership on talent identification and amplifying stars to the next level. So shoulder content. Then, find out if we can reduce this attrition rate between college and club. So we're making sure that the next generation of club players are coming from college. And then, obviously there was the membership aspect that we were going to offer, to our members. If they wanted to opt into a USA Rugby membership, they could do that. All of this, was a starting position for us. Again, it was a starting position for discussion that, to negotiate a very good partnership that would have been good for college rugby and rugby overall in the U.S.
Basically talking about a two-entity setup sort of under the USA Rugby umbrella so that both can exist. And would we have maybe some kind of joint championship matches or like AFC versus NFC?
Listen, I don't know what that would look like. I don't know how that deal would be structured under a partnership because they currently have a partnership with CRAA right now.
Which came out after you submitted your proposal idea.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. And I don't know if that's an exclusive deal. I mean, I haven't seen the details of that partnership. It could be exclusive, it could be non-exclusive. But if they came back to the table and they wanted to have a substantive discussion, we'd be open to that. But, now that USA Rugby is bringing college rugby under their roof and they're hiring 5 employees that are going to be working for USA Rugby on behalf of college rugby or CRAA, or maybe USA Rugby is going to run college rugby. I don't know, but I'm not sure how a deal like that would work out now. But we're open to any discussion or any substantive discussion at all.
All right, let's take a break because I have sponsors that I have to answer to, and we're going to come back and talk about how sponsors and networks are missing for us because of this divide. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away. And we are back with Mr. Jeremy Treece, the CEO of NCR, National Collegiate Rugby. Jeremy, getting all of college rugby on the same page for sponsors and networks is a very big deal. It's not Strait of Hormuz big, but it's big, right? So we're closer than ever. I'm the ultimate optimist. I'm an idiot. I'm so optimistic about things, but we are closer than ever to having all the clans under one roof because, we joked about it just 4 years ago, we had as many as 11, and, acronyms in the alphabet soup that was college rugby. And now we're basically, as we said earlier, down to the 2. Do you think we can see this as a functioning partnership in the next 2 years?
Listen, I believe alignment is possible, but it has to be built on mutual respect for the roles of each organization that we already play in the actual distribution of programs and athletes. Again, roughly 85% of college rugby is under one roof, and the path forward that ignores that reality will struggle. Unifying college rugby is a goal of ours. We'd like to unify college rugby because I think we're stronger together to have a unified product. And again, college rugby is a product, and it's a sports entertainment product, and it has to be treated as such. You have to have seasonality. You have to be able to explain it to fans, sports writers, parents. It has to be understandable. So we believe our model is the model, and it's the model that 85% of college rugby in the United States has chosen. So, if the other 12% of teams want to come along, and I say 12 because the other 2% is NYRA. Those are the NCAA initiative teams. They're in their own league, on that path to NCAA status. So, if they want to come and play under NCR and join our competition and join the family, we'd love to have them.
Jeremy, what do you make of the USA Rugby announcement allotting money for CRAA infrastructure and hired staffing?
Yeah, good question, Matt. It's their decision to make, obviously. From our perspective, the question is always the same. Where does the capital create the most value for the largest number of student athletes? We already have operating a self-sustaining model serving the largest majority of college rugby programs. Adding significant resources to a much smaller footprint is one approach for sure. We simply believe the greater impact would come from investing in the organization that already has the scale, systems, and the participation base already in place. So, if you were to put both organizations side by side, organization A versus organization B, and you asked any investor, where would you put your $1 million to get the best return on investment? I think everyone, 99 out of 100 would choose organization A, which is NCR, because we don't need World Rugby money to operate. We already have the scale and the resources to operate. They're starting from the ground floor, and they have to put $1 million just to get basically the store up and running. And 85% versus 12%. The money what we could do with that money would be phenomenal. And the partnership working together with USA Rugby, we could amplify the high performance. We could amplify the shoulder content to create these stars, because they need stars at the next level, both the MLR and on the national team to tell a story and get eyeballs. That money would have been much better spent at NCR, in my opinion.
All right. So we're running out of time. So my final question for you is I'm likely to have CEO of USA Rugby, Bill Gorin, on next week. If he would agree to come on this show with you, with me mediating and pressing a mute button when necessary, would you come on?
I appreciate the offer, Matt. We've already gone through multiple attempts of direct dialogue with USA Rugby. We even had the USOPC offer to mediate a discussion with NCR and USA Rugby, and USA Rugby has turned down that mediation. So I don't. As much as I love you, I think that going forward.
Is this a no? If I get him to agree to come on here and me mediate, you're going to tell me no?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you no.
Why?
Listen, like I said, we've already had multiple attempts at this, and I know it would make for good television, and people would tune in to watch Bill and I debate, the merits of college rugby and a partnership. But I think that those conversations are best left in private for us to have. And I think that, if we were on TV and trying to have this discussion, I like I said, it's going to make for great TV, but it's probably not going to get the job done.
To quote Harry Truman, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't care who gets the credit. I'd be happy to do this off camera.
Well, maybe we can sit down at a bar somewhere when Bill and I are at the same event and have a chat.
I'll take that. This is an important component of the American rugby landscape, if not the most important component. And things can get done over a cup of coffee or a cup of beer when people are together. So that's my only point. Jeremy, we're out of time. I want to thank you for coming on. It's much appreciated. I know it's like going to the dentist talking about this stuff. So I appreciate it. Mr. Jeremy Treece of NCR. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Matt.
We'll be right back with Cam Moody of the CanAm Rugby Tournament after this. Don't go away.
Going in like a wildcat.
Don't miss the critically acclaimed and entertaining The Rugby Odds, featuring big-name talent, exclusive highlights, strong opinions, well-earned insight, and irreverent, if not downright naughty, behavior.
Scrummy, a new rugby app where you can play fantasy, track fixtures, predict results, and follow player stats. Play today. It's about to get scrummy.
You need your cleats. You need them tomorrow. If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now.
It's 2026! Different year, new opportunity, and where does that start with? Your health. Health Enhanced Food is here to be able to make sure you get on the right path. We got 17 baking mixes just to be able to help you set you on your proper pathway. Whether you're taking it from the spectrum of ketosis, needing keto diet, gluten-free, or you need something more serious because you're diabetic, have renal failure, it's time to bake yourself into the best form that you ever have been. Head to healthenhancedfoods.com, use code RugbyOdds to be able to get 25% off your first order. And of course, Matt, no, just stop talking. Guys, stop him.
And we are back. And once again, we're welcoming in Mr. Cam Moody, the director of rugby for the CanAm Rugby Tournament. Cam, welcome back to MLR Weekly.
Hey, Matt. How you doing, buddy?
I'm still a little banged up, Cam. A little banged up. I was stupid enough to play in two of the elderly divisions, 2 matches in the same day, which is really a big mistake for old boys. Enough about me. Let's talk about the tournament because from my perspective, Cam, it was one of the best. And I've been to a lot of these things in the 52 years that it's been running.
It was fantastic. 116 teams in total. We started off a new program with Unified Rugby that we ended up a 2-hour clinic with them, ending in a game on Friday during the old boys matches. Unified, we've got people with mental disabilities and other disabilities just out there playing rugby, the sport that we all love, really showing how inviting and amazing rugby is for everyone. We really built something this year with that, a footing for something that we're going to continue to grow on, and hopefully we'll have actually a bracket next year with 4 or 6 teams, kind of get them up there, get a clinic going, and then get some actual games for them through the weekend. So we're excited about it. It was pretty cool. The CanAm Carnival was beautiful weather all weekend down there with games and drinks and did some special things there, showed Brothers on 3, the West Point documentary. Yep. So a lot of really good positives from the weekend, and great rugby all weekend long. As you said, one of the greatest CanAm tournaments I've been involved in, and looking forward to coming back stronger and better next year.
You got some grief about the new venue.
We're meeting and we're talking about the future. We probably will not use that for the championships next year with all the negatives that came with it. But it was something that we gave a shot. We're, hopeful in the future that if we do have a rainy, horrible day, that can be a fallback. And I know there was a lot of complaints, but all the championship games actually turned out to be pretty great.
Cam, on that note, we are out of time, but I want to thank you, sir. And I also want to thank Jeremy Treece, Steve Lewis, and Aly Cunningham for coming on, and thank you for tuning in. Please check out the Rugby Odds, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, sign up for our weekly newsletter, and please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.